Hey, 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 hey. How are you? You doing? So I know that there are several people watching, but I'm talking to you, right? If you feel like you need this today, then I'm talking to you. So welcome to the Art of Going Live, right? Where we teach and help people who want to formulate their videos so that they can go live. And we do that in the VCA Academy as well, Video Course Academy. And my name is Lionfly for those who are new. I'm looking here and watching for all of our comments and everything. I love energy, interaction, engagement. So if you have questions, hey, feel free to put them in the chat. This is a safe place for you to be a little dangerous. We're going to be answering whatever you kind of see. And today we're talking about backgrounds. Right? We're going to be teaching you how to make kind of a background. So this is going to be quick, simple. I'm going to show you the back end of my screen for the most part. So we can show you how to formulate something from what you see kind of here. Everything that you see here was done in Ecamm. Ecamm, thank you very much for being a strong partner and showing me. Oh, there it is. Not there. That's right. Okay. I was like, what's going on? For showing me all of the help and assistance that we can get. Ecamm is the most powerful content streaming software on the market. All right. So let's jump into this. And please feel free to interrupt with any questions or any comments if you want. Place them in there. If you are placing a question, do me a favor and put a Q with a colon and then your question. That way it gives a little bit easier time to find it. So we're going to make this here, but in different colors. If you have a brand or a color that you use for your company or your content, let me know. We'll see if we can figure it out and try to get that done there. All right. So now let me jump into the back end so you can see. So here we are. And I'm turning on my Pro Mouse so you're able to see that. Let me see. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to start off by making a blank screen. Like I said, this is going to be kind of short, quick, and to the point so that you're able to see this. All right. Now we're going to start off by making a blank screen or a new scene, if you will. And we do that by coming down to this plus button here and starting that off as empty. The one that has the two squares here and duplicates the scene that you see here. It would just make a copy of it. So we're going to do blank. Now I have my one to go into my background here as such. Normally, what happens when you see that there, it will come on as blank and you have that up here. So I can have my camera here. So it comes on as my camera here, right? But I like for mine to be coming on as the blank screen. And you're seeing that like this. This is how it normally comes on and how we're going to build from that point. I will put a little camera here so that you're able to see me there. Let's make that a circle and make it smaller. Okay. Put myself in the corner. Nobody puts line in the corner. All right. So now that we have our blank screen, what we're going to do is we're going to build our background. And that's what you see here. So what I'm going to do in order to do that is I'm going to come over here into our shape overlay panel and I'm going to select it. Once I do that, it's going to put the shape over into the scene here. Let me make it a different color so you can see. All right. So that's the shape that it brought in, that rectangle, so you can see right there. And we're able to change that for the most part. Okay. All right. So from here, I'm going to take it up into the corner, any corner, and then I'm just going to drag and drop. And let me get some of those things off the scene there, screen, so you can see it. All right. And so from that point, I'm just going to drag it out to formulate my background in essence. Okay. Put my camera over it so you can still see me here. All right. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to formulate and change the color. And we always have our color palette in which we can bring up and we come over to our fill for our color. And we will get into some of these also later, gradient and the rest of those. But for right now, we're just going to do the color. Brings up our color wheel. We have our wheel, all of our different palettes. You can choose which one you want, right? So let's say your color is like a bluish, right? Okay, perfect. Then that's your color. What's great about this also is if you don't want just your and I suggest this, I highly suggest it to not just leave it as a regular color. Let me change my camera, Okay, to not just change it as a regular color, but to give it a little pizzazz. And this is how we do it. So right now, let's say your color is blue. And again, you could change that to any one of the palettes. If you know the scales, you're able to change it more specifically with the hex coloring scales. And you're also even able to use the color picker here to get that color. So I'm going to add a second color because I want this to be a little bit different. So in this fill, instead of just color, I'm going to come to gradient. When I do that, look what happens. It gives me two different colors now. I have this blue and this yellow. And once again, you're able to change either color. What's even better in Ecamm, you're also even able to change the direction of the float. So like right now, we have the yellow on the bottom, right? So if I take this directional tool and I slowly start to move it, look what happens to that yellow. Now it's to the side. Maybe I want it on the sides like that. Or maybe I want it top to bottom, yellow on top. Right? So let's put yellow back at the bottom. I like it more like that. Look how much more palatable that looks, right? That looks more like, oh, okay, soothing. Again, you're able to even deal and dial in the opacity. So if you don't want it that strong, you're able to bring the opacity down to make it smoother. Oh, look at that. That looks really nice. Man, that looks good. All right, cool. So now maybe your colors are yellow and blue, right? Red and green, whatever it is. Maybe you can do that just for the holidays. All right. So from this point, now what we're going to do is we're going to put the camera on top of the background. In essence, what you're seeing here, I'll go back to my main camera here and turn on my background, right? So that's my background. That's what you just saw me made, and that's with um, the gradient colors, right? Blue and then that white is what I have mine in right there. I can change it to red as well. All right. So now we come back to the next scene. Here we go. So now I have this color. This same circle camera here, I'm just going to put there. I'm going to make this. And again, these options, you can check further videos of how I'm making the cameras different. And instead of being a circle, being the square, rectangle, dragging them out. I have other videos in there. Make sure you check those out as well so that you can see how to do that easily. But this one here is just mostly for the background. Okay. All right. And I'm going to tell you another little secret for the background that I absolutely love. So I can line that up, and you see the blue marks for those who've watched videos prior. That tells me where it's centered and how it is, right? Perfect. Just check and see if I got any. Okay, I see some comments. Great. No questions yet, but I thank you for the comments out there. All right. Now, I am going to now also change something in here. And I am going to make this. One second. Let me just double check. Oh, okay, okay. I see why. Because it has my background on it. All right, let's take my background off. Okay. I was looking and seeing that the had the red around it, and that was like my regular background. So we're making a whole different one. All right. So now let's drag this back down. Okay, perfect. So we're good. All right. So maybe here, for an example, on my camera, I have the outline that you're seeing there, but that doesn't this doesn't look right. What do you think? Right? I don't want that yellow around my camera, so of course I can take that away and get rid of that border. I can just leave it like that. Right? And leave it there. But I do want a border on it. But before I even go into that, let me show you about this also option for the gradient for the background. Right over here in this fill, where it says gradient, and we've made it two different colors. I can now go to motion. Look what starts to happen now when I go to motion. You will see that the background is actually moving. If you look up top, now there's blue, and then in the second, there's going to be the yellow up top. What that does is gives a pleasant kind of motion for the eye from your viewers and your guests to be looking at, right? Again, you don't have to use these colors. You can use whatever color you want. But now my background is pretty much set. All I have to do at this point is now add in some text in what you saw. And I'll show you a scene from this one here. As an example, my text there is the questions on the side over here, right? So that is one of the beautiful parts about that. But I want to also now make my camera different. So let's take a look, and I want to add in a border, but I don't want it to be yellow. Maybe for this kind of color, I need it to offset like a green. A green is a pleasant kind of thing. So also with that, I can make the border width over here. If I don't want my border of that, the width of that border to be as thick, I can bring it down. So I don't want green to be as much. All right, perfect. And then I'll make that round. Yeah, just for right now, that kind of looks good. Now let me show you some really cool things that's adding on to the text features here. In some of the previous videos, and I'll kind of go over this here slightly, we have in our text box, we have text box shrink to fit. We have text box truncate, and of course the scrolling and a dynamic. I'm gonna just start off with dynamic, and I'll show you kind of quickly a little bit of what that does. So let's add in a text and say new background feature. Okay. All right, perfect. Now we got that, and we want to maybe bring that down to the bottom here. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put this in the center because I want to show you something. So I'll shrink down the camera. Put me up in the corner. No, no one puts line in the corner. In the corner. All right. So here we go. So now I have this feature here. Now here's one of the slight differences that you guys can see. So this is dynamic text. One of the things dynamic means the shrinkage. When I start to move this out, you will see that the whole entire box starts to shrink, right? Versus if I make this a text box shrink, now I have more space. You can see that the text box has more space here. So I can now write something else and it doesn't change it. So let's say if I say new text box feature, and I'll just put some letters in here. And if I do that, look, it adjusts for that extra space. Versus if I did that inside of the, let's get that off, copy. And then now I make this a dynamic. Okay. Watch what happens now if I do the same thing in a dynamic. Just to kind of give you a quick, brief thing in dynamic, right? See how now the words start to layer and it doesn't fit within the box. So that's one of the major differences with the dynamic. And if I change it to text box, look what happens here now. I'm able to now make that kind of all go on the same line. Okay. Little quick overview on that. So if you want to have tons of text, I suggest using the shrink to fit. And if you're just going to make one or two lines, the dynamic works very well, right? That's all I wanted. Now it's bigger. Okay. So with this, I'm now going to show you something that's really cool. I'm going to add a background color to this text box. All right. Remember, it's a text box. So I come back up to edit. And right here where it says edit background, we're going to go into there. We're going to get the color. And now I'm just going to do this red just so it can make it stand out to show you what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So let's get that so you can see what's going on. What's going going on? Oh, I don't want to sing too much. They won't get me on that. All right. Oh, another little quick thing for an example, really quick. Let's say if I wanted to adjust maybe just that one feature in there, one word, instead of having to change the whole entire word, right? I can make one word a certain color. I can adjust the kerning. I can adjust the one thing on that one color. So on the kerning, for most people who don't know, if you highlight it, you'll be able to see the kerning is what separates the word, the size of the words. And then the line height, of course, is what makes it go up and down. So put that back at 0. So now I hit that, you can see what just happened, right? But I'm gonna bring it back down to 0. And what's great about this also is that back to 0. What's great about this is you also have the ability to see what the text would look like inside before you finish. And what I mean by that, for an example, is so here I am, I'm using English, okay, and then noteworthy is the typeface. But if I change it, you can see automatically, if you look here, it shows you exactly what it's going to look like before you have to put it on screen, right? So now we have it there. Okay, so let's go and I'll show you what I mean. All right. So I'm going to change this size because I want it all to be on one line. Okay, let's take a look. Any questions? Any questions? No questions. All right. So, all right, now, as we were talking about before, I'm going to change the background and I'm going to make it I changed that one word to red. So it can't be red. Those can't be blue. Okay, let me do this first before I do that. Let me change the word back to blue. Okay, because I want to show you this and I want it to all be the same. All right, now let's change this background here again. And then I'm gonna make that red just so it can stand out so you can see. And it's important because what I'm about to show you, you want to be able to see all of it. So let's make this smaller again so we can make sure it all fits on one line. There we go. All right, and then I want to, what's this on? Dynamic. All right, text to shrink. Let's see. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to bring this up in the corner because I'm going to show you a little cool technique that I'm going to do. Right, so I want to make that go all the way around and get this color to be all the way there, right? Watch how cool this is going to be. Let's see. Now I go dynamic. Okay, you can see how that makes it. And I'm showing you kind of the differences in how that's making it and why you'd want to use the other two. Truncate, again, I don't use that often. I really don't truly know what it does as much, but let's do some of these. Okay. Any other questions so far? Nope. All right. I'm about to show you a really, really great feature that I absolutely love. And you need a background in order to do this. Okay. All right. So actually, what I'm going to do is I want to make this on top. So now you can see how I could put that on top and look how that starts to look, right? But it's going to change that. All right, so I'll put that there. But I'm going to put that back because I want to change this up. All right. So before we go into that, let me show you um, this feature as well. So down here at the bottom, we have the shadow. If I click on shadow, look what it does. It kind of gives a shadow of the wording. And I'll change the color so you can see what I'm referring to, right? So now I put red on, look at the shadowing behind it. You're able to adjust the blur of the shadow. Okay, and watch the words up here. You can adjust the blur, the distance, how close it is to the actual word and so forth. And again, here at the angle, you can control that as well. All right. So, and now we're going to put the background on the back again because I'm going to add this, which is the cutout text. Right. Now, what it did is it cut the text out. Let me get rid of this for 1 second so I could show you. So it cut the text out. So now you're able to see through. All right. And let's make this bigger so you can see what I'm referring to now. Right? Let's just do the word background and make that bigger. Okay. Let's get rid of this for a second because I really want you to see what this is going to look like. All right. So then now we have background. Kind of shrink that down a little bit. Okay, and that's on shrink. Okay, let's go dynamic just so you can see what I'm referring to, right? Dynamic will make it bigger. All right, perfect. So now I just have, for an example, I have this big one word here. Watch how cool this starts to look when I add in now these colors, 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 colors. All right, so with that, now I know I need to shrink the word down. And again, this comes with that trial and error. You're playing around with it. You're seeing how you're doing it. And once you find the right combination, you're going to be able to look at that. Now, so you see how you can see through, right? You can see through the colors and see me right there. Now, watch what happens when I add in another background. And again, I'm going to come over here to the overlay and hit the color rectangle. And let's say if I want this entire thing to just be blue. I'm just going to put the color as blue. And I'm going to put it behind the background here. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to cover it is because I want that blue to come through on the word here. Right. So now look how the background, instead of seeing all the way clear through, look how it's bluish, right? You see the blue right there. I want that to be the whole entire screen, and I'll show you why. Okay. Then from that point, I'm going to make the text a little bit smaller just so you can see it. Nope. Okay. Again, trial and error. We're doing that. So let's go back up a little bit. Okay. Let's go here. All right. So perfect. Perfect. All right. Now, what's great about this again, let's go 44 maybe, 40, 45, 44. Nope. Okay. Perfect. Let's go 46 again. Yeah. And does that fit? 45 would fit. Yeah, okay. So let's go 45. 45. Let's see. Uh-oh. Did I take it off? I took it off. I took it off. No. Put it back on. Undo, undo. All right. It fits right now. Okay. Perfect. So there we go. So now here's another great thing with this right here, right? So I just created that. And now I can take this and I can bring the opacity down. Okay. By bringing the opacity down, I am now adjusting it. And then so let's bring the opacity down on this one as well. Okay. There we go. Now look what I just created, right? Inside of Ecamm, I have a little cutout. I have the background word cutout, but you're seeing blue behind it. Look what happens when I take away the blue. Okay, get rid of the blue. Okay. and then I bring the opacity back up, and now you can see it clearly, right? So now it's cut out. You can see me moving, and you can see all that. So it's a lot of cool, fun, unique things that can be done with this. And then I'll put the blue back on. So now you can still see me here, but it's bluish now, right? And I can use this as a countdown timer. So let's say I didn't want that to be background, but I'm going to say show starts in. Okay. And now let's bring that. See, now again, when you start doing this, you're going to start to adjust it. Okay. Show starts in. And then I can put a timer, right? I put a timer there. Um, okay. Let's change this now. Dynamic to this. Okay. And by putting a timer in, now what I'm doing is I'm making a wait screen, right? I'm making a screen that, so now I come here and I make a clock and I just say 10 minutes, right? Let's go blue. So now I have this where we're going to do, did I do the background in blue again? Let's see. Okay. All right. Perfect. So let's do background is blue. Let's go gray. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, show starts in. Okay. Bam, right? Again, this is all just playing around. And then now I'm gonna make that the same magnesium. Is that yeah, okay, right? And so now I can adjust this to make so many different things. If I don't want it to be as dark, I can do that. I can even adjust the background in the clock, right? So there's so many different things that you're able to do with that. Now, I'm just here, I'm still working. The show starts in X amount of time. You can do all of that and get it going. Let's do this here. Let's make this what's that? Shrink to fit. Let's go dynamic. Bring that back up. Now it's gonna go big. Boom. Right. So now I have the show starts in. I can put the time here. Again, the main purpose of this is the ability for you to adjust all of this. So let's say I don't like the way that the background looks on that. Take the background off. Now I just have simply the clock, right? Gotta beat the clock. I can bring up the opacity in that. Maybe I want the time to be seen more. Let's see how that looks there, right? So now, look, I just made a weight screen that looks amazing, in which I can then add different colors. I can add all kind of stuff, right? And then the wording has the cutout on it. So let's see. Boop. Okay. And if I take the cutout, it shows you. Now you see all blue, right? Give the cutout. Now that red that's behind it is coming through. Okay. All right. So that's it. I just wanted to show you how to make a couple of cool backgrounds in essence for this. But so we have all of this, right? So now let's take all of that away and we get back to the background. And I'll show you the importance of that background, right? So I put that there as a new scene. All right. And then we have our questions. This is the original one. And then this is the one that we were just making just now. Okay. So now I'm going to get back to that one color so I can show you exactly what that looks like. So this is the original one that we had. Put the camera over top, right? And so then now you can name your show. I just wanted to show you those text things, so you can my show name is okay. Bam. Okay. I want that to be underneath. Maybe you want to. Oh, and yeah. I'll show you how I got the rotation. Someone just asked, how did I make it go on the side? Okay. This is how quick and easy it is to do it with Ecamm on the side. All right. So I want my show name to be on a side um, over here. Okay, let me come back to demo mode. Over here is where I want my show name to be. Okay, I simply am going to double click or use the pencil. I come over to where it says rotation, and by rotating it, I can even have my show name go at an angle or the same way again, rotation. Okay, and I can have my show over there. I can have it on the bottom, right? And I'm simply going to duplicate that. Oh, I hate that. Let me turn that function off. The drawing. Okay. And I'm going to rotate this one back. Okay. And look, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you for taking the time and watching. I want to see you guys next week. Don't forget, we have this going on all the time in which we're bringing these tutorials and teaching you. Make sure you write us and let me know if there's something else you're trying to find. Graphics on the screen, incorporating them specifically with Ecamm. Yes, I can show you general stuff, but my training is in Ecamm. That's my specialty. So let's do it. Thank you so much for tuning in again to The Art of Going Live. Make sure you check out my VCA Academy as well, Video Course Academy. If you're looking to upscale your video content, get on screen. And if you're looking to find an easier way to be able to talk and get your content out, okay? Let me get back to my regular one here. So, once again, Lion Flood is here. I'm your coach. You just don't know it yet. And I'm looking forward to helping you get to where you want to go. Lionflat at lionflat.com. Any questions, any comments, any preguntas, después, I got you. Andreas Lentamente. Let's go slowly into life. Keep living while you're alive. All that great stuff. I look forward to it. And I will catch you all on the other side. Yeah. All right.